Good evening, all, and welcome to the zoo. The minions with me this evening are Adam.
How's it going?
Useless.
Hello, how goes it?
Sora Luna.
Hello, good evening.
And I just realized I put someone's name in the wrong section, so quickly editing on the fly. And of course, I'm the keeper for the night, Sanguine. How are all of you doing tonight?
Alive and kicking.
Always better than the alternative.
Tired.
Long day at work?
Long week.
Yeah,
Ah.
I hear you.
Going towards this week, I have my 4 standard days of work, and then I'm going on my early Christmas.
Yay.
Yep. And I also heard fantastic news due to a office worker upper management fuck up of the system. I no longer have to work Christmas if I don't want to.
Nice.
Yay. Screw
Normally, normally the way it works is everyone that works at the lab that I work at has to have 2 working holidays a year, but we get holiday pay on our 2 working holidays. Makes sense. But the desk workers in upper management, so not my management, not their management, but like 4 levels of management up, is where the problem comes in, where they are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 office workers. So anytime that they see a holiday lands on a weekend, they go, let's make that actually the Friday according to our schedule. So they put it in as the Friday. There's normally a time code that the managers are able to put in, the supervisors rather, are able to put in that kicks it out so that it's a proper day for the lab workers. Yeah, they just got word back this past week that they aren't allowed to use that code anymore. So all of the supervisors went, you do realize that we can't tell them that they have to work this holiday without them getting compensation for working the holiday, right? And apparently the response was effectively, what are you talking about? The holiday's Friday. Not realizing the lab runs 24/7, 365. So yeah,
Imagine that.
Yeah, the supervisors have decided, due to that, you know what? Fuck it. We'll go a skeleton of a skeleton crew, effectively just someone here that we're going to give the instructions. Make sure it doesn't burn down.
So an overpaid security guard. Got it.
A little bit more than that, but not by much.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be one person in each building, effectively. And
Gotcha.
they're just going to be in charge of make sure that the instruments are able to run in the morning. Other than that, as long as this place is still standing, you're good.
I mean, it
Nice.
just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, dude, as we were talking before the stream, I'm not going to get into it, but
Mm-hmm.
look, tomorrow I'm probably going to be at work for like 3, maybe 4 hours, if that.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the fuck do I have to waste my day doing that? Like, that's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Mismanagement, dude.
Yeah.
And like I was telling the fucking kid, I was like, dude, just because they're the boss doesn't mean they understand how the fuck to lead. You know, again, we go right back to fucking Varys.
Yeah, or it can also go to, what was it, the first war between Rome and Carthage?
Oh,
Where
shit.
Carthage had a fantastic army, it had a fantastic navy. It was getting its ass whooped by Rome. And then they got a Spartan general, and suddenly the story started to change.
Yep. Or hell, even like we were talking about before that with the Civil War of Rome and
Mhm.
Pompey's, strategic maneuvering, and how there was plenty of times where he could have taken Caesar, but
And damn near did. It was normally by just sheer goddamn luck
yeah,
that one or the other would escape various battles. And it would have been a hell of a lot longer of a war had the um, Ptolemaic Egyptians not decided to assassinate Pompey.
yeah, that was a time turning point,
Mm-hmm.
a time key.
For those of you who don't know, Julius Caesar and Pompey were two of the triumvirate. They were the two triumvirate that survived the longest. They ended up having a civil war against each other because the Senate started to fear the rise of power of Caesar. Hold on one moment. I have a little bit of rice stuck in the back of my throat.
Oh.
Whoa!
It's never fun.
There we go. Yeah, and it's nice and crispy, fried on the outside of my yaki onigiri.
Mm.
So it was just stuck like a popcorn kernel type deal in the back of my throat. But Pompey got wrecked by a volcano. Pompey got assassinated by Ptolemaic Egyptians. But the Senate started to fear the rise of Julius Caesar's power, so they conspired with Pompey to try to kill Caesar. Caesar survived, war started, went on from there. And they were just bashing each other about, both of them brilliant generals, both of them able to inspire their men, so it was a hell of a knockdown drag out. The Ptolemaic Egyptians trying to garner support from Caesar met with Pompey. They were allied to Pompey at the time. Upon meeting Pompey, they stabbed him in the back several times, lopped off his head, and then delivered his head to Caesar. And Caesar was not best
Sad day.
impressed by it, to say the least.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, Caesar actually respected Pompey. So when he got the head, it was, according to a number of the records, he found it rather revolting and depressing that he had been delivered the head of this great man because he fell to assassination.
Yeah, it's not a very it's a really shitty way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It should have fallen in battle, not by sneak and taking the advantage, you know.
Mm-hmm. And it's somewhat ironic that the way that his main rival was taken out is much the same as the way that Caesar was taken out himself.
Haha, no, because Pompey's assassin got ahead of the situation. Oh,
God damn it. And Pompey's assassin was
Terrible.
far better at the job than Julius Caesar's assassins were.
that was more sporous.
God damn it.
No, it was only like 13 minutes.
And if anyone tries to say those jokes were too soon, when the fuck is it long enough?
Hey, I'm always of the we must always remember. That's more important.
Yeah, but even then, you're able to make fun of Longinius.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever too soon, but that's just me.
The only time when it's too soon is when you're currently looking at the open casket.
Maybe.
It's kind of fucked up if you lean over, looking at the corpse to the grieving family and go, so you gonna finish that, or are we just gonna waste it? That's kind of fucked up. You wait until the wake at the very least to do that.
I would help my friends to be that funny at my funeral,
As I've said before, there's
This got dark really quick, didn't it?
2 parts of funerary practices. We do one of them rather well currently. We do the second one rather poorly.
Well, hold on.
You need the ceremony part. You need the proper gravity to be given to the grave. But then you do need the bullshit make jokes. You need both of them. You can't go just the jokes without the gravity. You can't go just the gravity without the jokes.
That makes
The
sense.
levity.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I'm paying attention.
So, yes, I jumped into that out of nowhere rather than completing the. So, what did you guys do today? Anything interesting that you were dying to talk about? Or...
Oh, shit.
Well,
Yes,
I made
actually.
taiyaki today.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, cook.
I made taiyaki today, with sweet bean paste and everything.
Nice.
It was
Hope-
It
sweet.
came out pretty
What?
good.
Look
It was
good.
crispy and fluffy. Yeah.
Very
Crispy on the
good.
outside,
Look-
fluffy on the inside.
I love
Very nice.
sweet red bean paste.
Yeah.
Did you also, out of nowhere, realize that one of your grocery stores actually carries Atsuki beans?
I just
Who's
got red beans.
asking?
Oh, you just got standard red beans?
Yeah, that's all I could find. So
Ah, okay. Yeah, I
Oh, did
realized
you-
one of my grocers actually has Atsuki beans, which is the Japanese red bean.
yeah. But I was surprised how good it was. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You found the hidden Asian corner, because we have they used to be, I remember back in the 90s when there used to be this tiny little section before like imports became like a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Have
and
to like hunt for him.
such an elusive place. How can I find it? I'm just asking for.
God damn it.
You should always find a good Asian
I
market
could
near
hear
you.
I could hear sniggering, and I was like, I don't know
Yeah.
if that is actual giggles or if it was like something coming over
I
the
knew-
connection, and then here he is.
I knew he was just waiting the moment that he heard me say Atsuki beans for him to work in some way of making a joke off of it.
Hold on. Wait. Wait, you can hear the leaks? Oh,
Wait, what?
Well, no. Hold on, you can hear the leaks? Because I've been holding so much back. It's like, I have a hard time. I don't know, it's a disability. I gotta go to a doctor or something like that. But, honestly, I think it's getting worse. But the whole time, I'm just like, oh yeah? And I don't want to say anything because, you guys have beautiful voices. So, but I hold it in, and then all of a sudden it just comes out, and then, hopefully it comes out nicely.
It was an amusingly bad joke.
Yeah, no, it was horrible.
But yeah,
Oh,
for
God.
the beans, they were just right next to the rest of the beans at the grocery store, which was
Nice.
strange as fuck because I'm going like, okay, yeah, they have the navy beans, they have the black beans. Wait, they have fucking Atsuki beans? Looks like I'm getting Atsuki beans now.
Yeah.
So I have a bag of them sitting behind me that I'm going to be fiddling with, experimenting, making red bean rice, which
Nice.
is a savory version of the preparation of Atsuki beans. And then I'm probably at some point going to try my hand at making the red bean paste as well as the sweet stewed red beans that are used in some of their desserts.
Hmm.
Now, is this red bean the same type of stuff that they put in these? I want to say udami, but I don't think that's the right word. But those Japanese bean paste cookie things,
Yeah.
like
Daifuku? What it is?
daifuku.
Is that
I think
That's
that's what it's that
one.
soft, like it's like white, and then inside it has the bean paste. I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like made of rice.
Yeah, rice flour.
Yeah. Is that wait? So is that what you're cooking? Is what they
No.
put in that?
There's a picture. Well, I
That's
made the
one
bean
of the
paste.
things that
Yeah. But I put
Oh,
a picture on
really?
Discord.
Or is what you're
His is
cooking they put in chili and shit, like in Western?
so
Like totally opposite.
Western red beans. Those are the sorts that are typically used in chili.
Yeah, like
The
chili.
Adska beans are the Japanese red beans,
Well, who's asking?
and the Japanese red beans are used in some savory dishes. Like I said, they have a red bean rice that they do, an Adska bean rice, which is rather lovely. But then they also use it in daifuku. You can have red bean mochi. You can have
Yeah.
red bean
Yum.
steamed buns.
Oh wait,
Yum.
mochi's that like the ice cream stuff, right?
It's the
Tap tea.
kind of chewy dough wrapped around. They have ice cream versions. They have
Yeah.
red bean versions. You can wrap it around a bunch of different things.
It's usually flavored like green
I
tea.
love
you
ice
know.
cream versions.
Oh my god, I
Mhm.
can't wait till they mix it up with tamales and shit.
I'm actually thinking about trying making a red bean paste ice
Pinto
cream.
bean.
See how that comes out.
Mm,
Oh, man.
yum.
Sorry, that was a Clash of Clans. So,
But, go ahead. I heard so.
well, it all sounds delicious, and kind of surprised that the red bean paste kind of goes that far.
Oh yeah, there's a lot that you can do with the red bean paste, and it is delicious. Like I said, the traditional type is the Adska beans, and there's apparently several different grades of Adska beans that you can get, with each of them having slightly different texture and how pronounced the flavor is. They're used in a hell of a lot of different desserts. And like I said, there's a handful of savory Japanese red bean dishes as well, which are the ones that I'm a bit more keen on trying because I haven't had those dishes yet. I have had the standard red bean dishes where it's the red bean paste in daifuku, mochi, steamed buns, and China also uses red bean paste a lot, as does Korea, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's big in Asian countries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know in Japan they have a high-end fruit market where you buy an $8 mango.
Oh yeah, that's fairly cheap for their high-end fruit market because
Hold on, wait, what was that called?
what?
What was
What's
it
the bean
called?
name?
Oh, Adski.
No,
It's-
Adafaringo.
Suki.
We'll do.
Wait, what are you trying to get at him?
I was asking what was the fruit called? Escomana.
Which
Yeah,
fruit?
the fuka.
The
Oh, you
fruit.
mean it was mango?
Oh,
So
Yeah.
there's daifuku,
Yeah.
which is one of the Japanese desserts, and that's Daifuku. Then there's mochi, which is another Japanese dessert that's very similar to daifuku. Then you have, like I said, a bunch of other desserts that use it. Were any of those the words that you were trying to get? Adam?
yeah, no, I forgot it. Probably wasn't
Okay.
really important.
But yeah, the
So just
$8
listening to all the delicious foods that you guys are talking about, and you know, I guess a word just kind of popped out to me and was like, oh shit, kind of want that. I don't know. Sometimes words are sexually.
Mm-hmm. The $8 mango in Japan is not that rare, though.
Oh yeah, I mean
Because-
$80 mango.
Say again?
$80 mango.
Oh, 80. Yeah, that gets up there. But it's because Japan's an island nation, so it doesn't have much
Yeah,
land
And
to
they-
produce fruits, and it's not really the proper environment to produce fruits.
and they also
so
like
all of it's
baby their
imported.
fruit, and they baby them too to make them perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
no, I always
they're
wanted to try
absolutely
the.
enormous, perfect strawberries.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Well, I've been watching this YouTube channel called Weird Explorer, and all he does is eat weird fruit.
Hmm.
You know. I've been wanting to try some jackfruit, but it's kind of expensive. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's good.
It is.
I was surprised. So, speaking of finding things, oh, my grocery store has this now. Well, it's not. It's one of the grocery stores that I passed by on the way home from work. So randomly I stopped. I said, okay, well, I need to pick up some stuff. Usually I don't stop there. It's too right after work. It's the mad rush, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I have to, or else there's no bread, milk, all the essentials at home. And so in the produce area, they've redesigned it so now they have the whole like pre-made salads, like the Greek salads, those lunch kind of kits, that kind of stuff that they make themselves. They have made it into a vegan area too. And they have cut up jackfruit because it's used in to simulate a lot of exactly simulate meat texture. And I was like, ooh, because you can buy small pieces that, instead of buying a whole fruit and you don't know what it looks like, you can buy anyway. I bought a tiny piece that was, it's chopped up. So the whole fruit was chopped
so you can get like a pound, half pound to a pound of
like chopped or sliced.
Oh no,
chunks.
mine was it was even smaller than that. It was a $1.50 something worth of it, which is it was itty bitty, but it was enough.
Yeah,
like
that's probably like 3 ounces or something.
Something for like a small meal.
No, not even. It's not even enough for a small meal. It was literally a snack size. Like because with the thing with the jackfruit is it's all peel.
Yeah.
It's all in between bits and it's all seed. And so once you once you take it apart and you get to the actual fleshy bit that you can eat that is delicious, you've done more. You have more garbage than anything. But
I was kind of like cocoa in that.
Yeah, it's like you peel and peel and peel layers and layers, and then all you have is this tiny little thing to eat. And I quite enjoyed it. It's one of those things where it's a delicious, I would say, sweet dessert thing. Will I ever buy it again? No, because even for the amount I got, what I paid for was just stupid expensive. And I lucked out with that being like I didn't know if what I was looking at was a ripe jackfruit or anything, but it was tasty and I like it and I see why people like it, But I would recommend it's one of if you can find it cut up, it's probably worth trying. I wouldn't buy a full one.
Yeah.
It's not worth that.
I heard it's similar to durian fruit.
Durian?
It's durian without the stench.
Yeah.
The stinky fruit. Oh shit!
I love durian.
What?
Durian, I would recommend 100% that. I would get.
Does it
I love
taste good?
It's so good. Oh, it's delicious. Ignore how it smells. It's the smell is fake. It's to stop you from eating it. It is so creamy.
Hold on. It's not
delicious.
fake if you're smelling it. Okay.
it's like it's trying to keep itself from being eaten, so it tries to lure you away with the bad smell.
Yeah, but it's still there.
Well, it wants the right animal to eat it, so it spreads its seeds.
Hold on. So even when you get into the past the smell, right? Does it like when you chop it up? Do you still smell it as you're eating it and stuff?
Well, it's like how you eat the stinky cheese. So you have the aroma.
I love the book. What? Stinky Cheese Man. You know the Stinky
Yes.
Cheese Man.
I know the stinky cheese man.
Oh,
That the god
Sora,
that sends me back to my
don't-
childhood. Okay.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay.
And I prefer though his other book, his version of the Three Little Pigs, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
from the perspective of the wolf and how it's this
Yes,
whole thing
and he
was
trying to get help.
media.
Oh, okay. You know what, Sora?
But
we
back
could,
to the durian, it's like eating that. You have the aroma, but at the same time, it's this sweet, full flavor. It's very creamy. It's like a lot of
Like a
people call
Gouda?
it an ice cream or pudding texture.
Mhm.
You make it's delicious mixed with a warm rice, like to make it a sweet pudding, or like I've had it in fried food, but you can eat it as is. It's sweet, but like you can have it in. But I'm telling you, you feel it. It lingers. It's a heavy scent. It will last. You have to make sure whoever you eat it around likes it because it'll last in your house for a good day.
that is not a good selling.
Hey, Pat.
Well, I mean, other things that last a full day in
Hold
the
on,
house.
hold on.
Fish, if
Hey,
you
hey.
cook fish, that scent can last.
Can I gotta say, hey, Pat, I see you in chat. Hey, man, thoughts and prayers with you, man. It's hard times, dude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry to cut it short, but that is fucked up. And I've lost family members from that stuff, so this is not a joke. It's bad.
Mhm.
But I love you, man, and I really did kill it, didn't I?
No, because I'll bring it right back. So with jackfruit, one of the things that you can do with it, and one of the uses that a lot of people do with it, like I said, it's used as a pork substitute.
Yeah.
So you can get pulled jackfruit,
Mm-hmm.
which is meant to simulate pulled pork in the texture and the flavor. So there's a lot of uses for jackfruit in order to work it around. Durian, there's far fewer alternative uses because if you're getting durian, you just kind of resign yourself to the smell and you eat durian because you want to eat durian, not because you're trying to substitute something else.
Well, I bet I
Yeah.
can make a pretty good fried rice out of that durian.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of dishes that you can do, but all of them are using durian as durian. None of them are trying to mask durian as anything else, where there's a lot of jackfruit meals that are trying to. This is just like pulled pork. It's pulled jackfruit. This is just like this sort of pork. It's using jackfruit. It's just like this sort of chicken. It's using jackfruit. You don't get that with durian.
Oh shit! Wait, so hold on, because I don't know I'm gonna probably get enough flack for this, but so is it like curry? Because sometimes there's some curries that are just like,
Well,
holy shit, it
can
tastes
use-
great, but
We
son
can
of
use
a
jackfruit
bitch,
for curry.
can you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
seen
can
it.
use jackfruit in curry.
Oh,
And it's not really like curry because the thing about curry is that curry is more a family of dishes rather than a specific dish.
Yeah.
Because are you talking a Indian curry, a Chinese curry, a Southeast Asian curry, a Japanese curry?
I don't know. I'm talking
And if you're
about the
talking an
strong
Indian
scent
curry, are you talking about
It all depends on the spices used.
Yeah.
every
look,
curry is different.
Look. All of those that you just depicted,
Mm-hmm.
you can't equate to some strong smelling Mesoamerican type dishes. Okay, so there's we can that's a curry. I don't care where it's from. We just know that's the scent, and I'm not saying it's bad or good.
Well,
I'm
the
just
thing
saying
that I
that
was
there's a scent. I'm smelling something and it's strong. And it has a a powerful stance.
and James Colley, I'm assuming that you know because you've
make
had a
chocolate
Japanese
curry?
curry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly common in Japanese curry for someone to add just a little bit of chocolate when they're making the Japanese curry.
Nice.
Hey James, how do you know? Also, hi.
See, I was guessing she'll ask.
See, I don't know the answers. I'm just asking the questions.
But yeah, Japanese curries, its own beast.
Yeah, I want to try to make it,
Because-
but it's like, ooh, yeah.
Well,
Dude,
the
it's
thing is that
delicious.
saying that there's even one Japanese curry isn't accurate.
No,
There's
it's
a shit ton.
No, dude, I got a dude that I work with, and he,
Mhm.
I believe he's from Thailand, and he brings in chicken curry a lot,
yeah.
and he's shared it with me a few times.
Thai
it's
chicken
fucking
curry is amazing.
Delicious as shit.
Mhm.
And it's it's just it's bad because I've gotten to the point where he'll come up to my table or my desk and he'll because I like to fist bump people like hey how's it going, and so he'll come up to my desk to go fist bump, but he might have food in his hand, and I'm like, oh dude, what am I gonna have? And she's like, no, I was gonna go to lunch, I was just saying hey. When I was like, oh.
got excited there, huh?
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna enjoy some delicious food, but yeah, hey, I'm all for it. I love being able
So-
to taste the differences of the foods.
Does he bring in the green Thai, the yellow Thai, or the red Thai chicken?
Yellow.
Yellow? Okay.
Why? Wait, what is
Oh, there's 3 different major Thai
What, like,
curries.
spicy?
There's green Thai, which is extremely herbaceous. All of them are fairly well spiced because Thai food is fairly well spiced as a whole.
Yeah.
But the green curry tends to be really herbaceous and creamy tasting because it uses coconut milk and a hell of a lot of different herbs. It still uses a fair number of peppers, but all the peppers are green in color, so it matches with everything else. So you get this really creamy, herbaceous, spicy green curry. Then the yellow curry is kind of the mid-range of the strength of curries, where you get a fair bit of heat, you get some added complexity. It isn't herbaceous like the green, but it just has its own thing, and it's amazing. Then you have the red curries, which tend to be the hottest curries. And they, again, have their own complete flavor profile. So they're vastly different, even in just Thai curry. And I love the sheer number of curries. Like Japanese curry, which is where the chocolate can be used. That's normally used in... There's effectively 3 different major groups of Japanese curry. You have sweet curries, you have spicy curries, and you have savory curries. The savory curries are somewhat spiced, but not as spice forward as the spice curries. You have a little bit of sweetness, but they really try to punch up that umami note to it.
Yeah.
And that's why you can add some dark chocolate to that savory curry, because the bitterness balances out with everything else rather nicely, adds that just dark undertone. Kind of like how you can do coffee rubs on meat.
Hold on, what is a curry? Is it like a spice?
So, curry is a...
Hold on, and
spices.
let me just preempt this because I'm thinking. Okay, so there's an instance at work where people were talking about. This lady was like, "I don't like mole, but I like it if it has chocolate in it," and somebody else said if that's like a traditional mole thing, and I like mole. I think it's good, but
Yeah.
I've never had it with chocolate, and I'm sitting there like, is that a no? So
I'm under the impression that it's not a mole unless it has chocolate.
but is a mole a curry?
No. So,
What
curry...
What's
a-
a mole?
Curry is a blend of spices when you're talking about like dried curries, but more broadly, because the dried spices that are used or that are called curry are just the spices that you use to make a curry, and it's a specific type of curry every time. So you'll have like Madras curry, and you'll have another thing that would be like Goan curry spices. But curry in its basic form, where it originates, is effectively a sauce. And it is a sauce using a wide variety of spices. That is the most basic way of referring to it. The curry powders are, like I said, powders of those spices.
The specific spices.
Which change depending on what type of curry you're referring to.
Right.
Because there's, like I said, Goan, Madras, Thai green, Thai yellow, Thai red, Japanese sweet, Japanese savory, Japanese spicy, Chinese yellow, Chinese red, a whole slew of different sauces. And most of them are effectively, if it's a really complex combination of spices, that most of them have to involve the leaves from the curry tree in order for it to be considered a curry, then those are typically from the subcontinent to Eastern Asia. Then moles are a spice sauce that I was under the impression pretty much every mole had to have chocolate in it.
I don't know.
In order to be a mole, because I thought that was one of the deciding, or one of the main features that made it a mole. But it's, again, a very spice-forward sauce that then, if it's a typical dark mole, the brown mole, the sometimes called red mole, I think, it has chocolate in it. I guess there are green moles and yellow moles as well, which those wouldn't have the chocolate.
God, see, okay, all you're doing is like expanding the map, but all the map is fogged over because I'm sitting there like,
so
for real?
moles,
Because I was always just, it was mole that you eat with some like tortillas and shit. That's what you do.
moles are from northern South, Central, and Southern North America. And if it's a sauce that has a bunch of different spices combined into this thick, unctuous sauce, then it typically is considered, and it comes from that area, it's typically considered a mole, especially if it's Mexican cuisine, because that's the main area where mole is from. But
there's never been chocolate. Like, I've never seen a chocolate.
Like I said, if you're talking, what is it, mole negro?
Well, hold on. Can we be honest? If we're, I hate to say it, but she was Latinx, so who knows if she's talking about Hershey's milk chocolate, or she's talking about like some like Abuelita cocoa chocolate. I don't know.
Typically a cocoa powder.
Yeah, it's probably like the straight from the nut type of.
Yeah,
I always thought mole always had chocolate in it.
I'm just trying to.
Yeah, like I said, because I think you and I both, when we hear mole, we're thinking, I want to say it's mole negro is the standard mole.
There's a boxed thing that I get that I add to fucking chicken. That's
yeah, and if you're getting boxed version, then it's most likely mole negro, and mole negro always is made with bittersweet chocolate.
Yeah. Is it really? Oh shit.
Yes. I guess that's what renders that color, and it gives that real kind of dark, slight bitter note to the sauce. is the
So then
dark
all
chocolate.
mole is chocolate. What the fuck is she talking about? She's retarded.
There's. I'm trying to remember all the different categorizations because after I said that I think all mole includes chocolate, I started remembering, isn't there a red mole and a green mole
I don't
though?
know, man. Maybe
And if
she
there's a
thinks she's
red mole
Marco
and a
Polo.
green mole, then the red mole and green mole would not include bittersweet chocolate.
You could, unrefined chocolate cocoa powder, because that has red tint to it.
It
Holy
might.
shit.
It depends on the type of chocolate because that.
Yeah.
So this also. We're going to talk about food science here apparently tonight.
Wait. So does that mean this is like an older type of recipe? Oh,
Well, there's red mole and green mole. Red mole and green mole are the green mole, just like the Thai green curry, is extremely herbaceous. So
yeah,
it has
bases. Oh, wait, sorry.
herbaceous, yes. So really herby, fantastic. Kind of like a chimichurri is extremely herbaceous. In fact, that's one of the defining features of a chimichurri. It's herbaceousness. But the green mole, and I just double checked, and I was right. There is a green mole and a red mole. So I
Nice.
wasn't going insane when I started thinking about it. So the green mole uses a lot of herbs. It's still fairly well spiced, still a really complex flavor, but it's a much brighter and lighter flavor. The red mole uses a lot more roasted peppers, and it doesn't include chocolate. Let me quickly double check because I don't believe that one includes chocolate, but it uses a lot of roasted and dried peppers in its making. And yes, it is roasted and dried peppers. Then also a lot of seeds are used in the making of it. A hell of a lot of different spices. And then tomatillos, and a handful of other things. So, yeah, it is without. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. There is still chocolate in red mole.
Hmm.
But
Nice.
it is not as much chocolate as in mole negro. So that's the difference.
Whoa. I don't think you're allowed to say the word, sir.
And then there's also yellow mole, which I need to figure out what the hell's in yellow mole now. But we also mentioned that it depends on the type of chocolate, what the coloration of the chocolate is, because there's a hell of a lot of different origins of chocolate now, and they change color rather drastically. So you have the standard chocolate that you're thinking, that dark cocoa powder, where
the
it's
cacao fruit.
almost black in color.
Yeah.
That is mostly, if I remember correctly, South American chocolate is used to make that. Am I correct in that? Useless? Do you remember?
Maybe. I think so, yeah.
Then there's, I want to say it's Madagascaran chocolate, which is the more pinkish.
I never had that, so I don't know.
It's a lighter brown and almost kind of a pinkish red, if I remember correctly. That comes from Madagascar.
I think we've opened a Nutella jar of. Oh shit.
Oh yeah, there's a hell of a lot of different chocolate origins from around the world, and each of them has a different look and taste, which causes it to be something that people will blend chocolates in order to get just the right flavor profiles. But then you also have single origin chocolates, and single origin chocolates allow for you to have just an extremely deep sense of one of those flavor profiles that the chocolate can have. So it ends up being very, very cool. And then, of course, you have is it a dark chocolate? Is it a milk chocolate? Is it a ruby chocolate? Is it not really chocolate and it's white chocolate?
You know,
and the reason
that's
why I
a,
say
that's
not
a,
really chocolate is because chocolate, the standard definition of chocolate is that it has to have some mixture of cocoa solids and cocoa fats.
Yeah.
White chocolate has effectively no cocoa solids, so it is just cocoa fat.
I mean, you guys have gone over, I think, every angle of all the chocolates and where they could come
We just
from
scratched the
and
surface.
what they are. Yeah, I don't blame you, but you know,
There's a place.
I'm still trying to figure out what in the hell this whatchamacallit is.
So
The candy bar.
if it is a sauce that is flavored using a variety of spices, but includes the leaves of the cocoa tree, and it is originating from the subcontinent up and through Eastern Asia, it is a curry. There's a number of sauces that are also considered curries that don't use curry leaves, but they are similar in texture and flavor profile from that same area that are still called curries, but the most basic version is it has to use curry leaf somewhere in the preparation. Then you have that as a rough definition of curry. You also have moles, which, like I said, their main point of origin is Mexico, and then it stretches down to northern South America. Also has some moles, which are, again, deeply flavored, spiced sauces that have to have the right texture, and it seems to be that it's more the texture than a specific flavor or specific combination of spices that determine whether it's a mole or not. Two different types of mole have chocolate in them. Bog standard, the mole negra and the mole. Well, what the fuck is the word for red? Is it mole rojas? Is rojas red? Anyone know?
I don't know.
I believe it's Roja X.
Let me check.
I don't speak
Rojo,
foreign. So
Roja.
okay.
ROJO, ROJ.
Okay, so
Rojo or Roja, depending on the gender.
and I don't know what gender the sauce is, so okay. James is saying Rojo. You also said Rojo is one of the options, so I'll say that
Yeah,
it's
rojo means
mole
red in
rojo.
Spanish, so.
Dude, whoever got Rolos, dude, those are the worst candy you could ever get. You ever got Rolos?
Rolos are still above
Caramel
candy corn.
it's a caramel and a chocolate pastille. It's delicious.
What's a pastille?
Okay,
Is it
Sanguine. They're two
Canadian
different
Coke?
categories. Let's not get offensive here. There's nothing wrong with candy corn.
But Rojo is red in Spanish.
Yeah.
Yes, so
Yes.
the mole rojo is also uses chocolate, but it doesn't use as much chocolate as the mole negra.
Oh my God, James!
Yeah.
And god damn it. Laughing at his white chocolate comment, I'm guessing.
Yes, I just tuned back to the chat. That took me by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It's very PC
So, yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
That's the difference between Curries and MotZ, Adam. They are very similar. A lot of people point that out, though.
Weren't we talking about like fire trucks or something?
No, I brought up food, and
I don't think we ever started talking about fire trucks. Is there a reason that you want to talk about fire trucks?
I don't know. I could have sworn
It's
we
'cause they're
started
red,
talking
isn't it?
about- Yeah, probably the red.
Depends on where you are. Some of them are being painted yellow now.
Are they? Oh shit.
Yeah.
you
Every
choose
so
the
often,
bus.
they try to decide whether or not they want to change colors of fire trucks. I don't know why, but they do. Well, I do know why. I just don't think that it's all that great of an explanation for why. Because the reason that they give is that they're trying to determine what color is the most easily visible for a fire truck.
Well, I think the lights on the top of the trucks
You have the siren.
Kind of give it away, yeah.
kind of visible, but you know, it's kind of funny too. Thinking about it, they have the striped, like black and white striped bars on the sides of the trucks. Wasn't that like a camouflage tactic for World War One ships?
You're talking about razzle dazzle camouflage.
Razzle dazzle. That sounds like an early
The
1900s.
old razzle dazzle.
There you go. Yeah.
Have all of you seen razzle dazzle camouflage?
I don't know, but
I have
somebody's
not,
grandpa's
no. Headache
shaking their
looking at
finger and kicking their legs.
Hold on, I must
Let me
Google
pull it up.
razzle
I have a headache just
dazzle.
thinking about it.
Razzle dazzle.
Yeah, let me pull it up and I'll share it so that everyone can see what razzle dazzle camouflage is.
Oh, that's horrible.
It
That
almost
can.
gives
Oh,
you
by
a
the way,
headache
some
just
people are
looking at it.
triggered by black and white things. So if you are prone to seizures, this would do it. So caution.
No, I can find razzle dazzle camouflage that is non-black and white razzle dazzle.
Okay.
So if you want me to find non-black and white razzle dazzle, I can. For instance, there's black and white razzle dazzle, which is the most common, but there's also examples of non-black and white razzle dazzle.
I have epilepsy. I can look at these things. I think they're funny.
Some people can be triggered by optical illusion.
Well, I
style
take a lot of
things, which is-
medication, so that's probably
yeah.
the difference.
So
Yeah, it
as,
works.
as an example of non-razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle that is non-black and white razzle dazzle.
I was told it was zebra striped.
I'll pull up this image of razzle dazzle.
Okay, that's it.
It is not black and white.
It looks like a moth, sort of.
Hold on,
But
that
it
looks like
gives
an
you-
album cover in the 70s.
Yeah, it kind of does. But that is an example of what razzle dazzle can look like. There's more jarring versions that you can find. Here, this one's also not entirely black and white, so let me pull up this one as well, because this is one of the... damn it, it doesn't allow me to pull up that picture. Come on, let me... Why aren't you allowing me to pull it up? God damn it. Let me do it this way. And there we go. That allowed me to do it by a fucked up means. So this one isn't entirely just black and white, so hopefully that doesn't trigger anyone's epilepsy. But
Oh god, that's horrible.
Ah!
yeah, that's razzle dazzle as well. That's razzle dazzle that uses blue and yellow, and black and white.
So is the purpose to it, or is it just for fun?
Oh, it is actual camouflage. It
Super
breaks
good
up
shit.
the image so that it is harder for certain systems to pick up that is actually something
Okay.
rather than just
It's like
being jutting rocks or waves.
you look at this and it's like somebody left their cocaine addict fucking painting in the middle of the ocean. And like holy shit. It's like, hey, we're supposed to be discreet. Oh yeah?
The Discreet this.
We're in the ocean. Boom, 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 boom. It's all right. There they go.
Yeah, the whole point of Razzle Dazzle Camouflage was it broke up visual delineation of ships, so you couldn't tell where the ship was pointed, what the fuck you were even looking at, what speed it was traveling at, and how far away it was, because you were just looking at this series of, why is that line going that? What the fuck did they do? Why does it look like it's a goddamn fourth dimensional object just folding in on itself and then reforming? What am I looking at? That was the entire point of Razzle Dazzle Camouflage.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yep.
At least it was a cool name.
Yeah. And it was used extensively in World War One, as Adam said, though it was also used in World War II.
Nice.
And apparently from that image, it was used in the early 80s drug war in America.
I can believe that as well.
Typically around Florida and Cuba.
Because, yeah, it breaks up the image of the ship and makes it difficult as hell to tell its heading, its speed, what the fuck is even happening, because those lines shouldn't go that way.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. You know, when some of them glowy Fed boys saw them particular stripes and shapes, they were like, hey, perhaps Pleasure Island lays in that direction. Boont, 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 boont. Hey, they were tempted. The sirens of the sea, so to speak.
And the thing is, Razzle Dazzle wasn't just used for naval vessels. There were also Razzle Dazzle aircraft.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, you can't be exclusive. You gotta allow the air folk.
To also have seizures.
Yeah. What better way as a helicopter pilot? Hey, yeah, we're going to. Oh, that's horrible. I mean, at least like a plane, you could possibly land it, you know, on a bed of water like Sully. But a helicopter, once you let go of that lever, you're done. Once you let go of the control stick, you're done in a helicopter.
Whee!
Especially since, I'm not sure if this is still the case, but I know for a while it was. The US opted not to have the ejectors. And that sounds weird when you hear ejection seats in a helicopter, because you're probably thinking, what, so you just vent the person through the blades? No, there's an entire system for the ejection seat in a helicopter that was adopted by the English and I think pretty much every other military. The main holdout was the US. We didn't adopt it. I'm not sure if we still haven't, but for the longest time, we did not adopt it. And it had a charge in the center of the propellers, so that when you activated the ejection seat, it would detonate the charge, shooting the propeller props out. And then it would detonate the ceiling of the helicopter before ejecting people.
Well, I mean, the most
We did not
important thing
accept this for the
you've gotta
longest time
understand.
because we're going, that sounds like there's a bunch of things that could fail in it.
Well, no,
So
no,
we
no.
just aren't going to. Doesn't that mean that we're just saying that, yeah, if you go down in a helicopter, you're going to die? Fuck it. Yeah.
It's
Get good. That was the military model for a while.
people today
Oh,
don't
I just
understand
did, yeah.
that perhaps when they were
I can hear again.
registering patents for these inventions, back then, they might have thought about these type of things, you know. And so yes, and you're thinking about ejecting a pilot from the seat of a helicopter. It probably would make sense to remove the propellers beforehand. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. You could. People are comfortable with thinking that humans could think of rotating propellers to lift them off the space, but they wouldn't think of, hey, how the fuck do I get out of here? You know.
Well, I
Yeah,
could
like I
imagine
said-
just propellers hitting other planes, or helicopters.
No, yeah.
Different close formation.
Easiest out for a lot of these fucks. Yes, sir.
But yeah, like I said, for the longest time, and possibly still to this day, the U.S. military decided, no, we aren't going to do the injection seats. For our helicopters. We'll have them for our airplanes, not for our helicopters. Fuck it. Get good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it's that plus where they're going to use them. You know, they're not going to use them in instances where it would be necessary to add these types of devices. But
Oh, helicopters are in a lot of dangerous scenarios because they're the close fire support.
well, some of them are, but not all of them.
A fair number. Pretty much
Most
every attack
helicopters-
helicopter.
Well, most helicopters do ground support.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're the close fire support.
There's close fire support and ground support. There's two different. There's around the line and behind the line. You know.
And I heard the ground support trying to reach Major Town.
I know that's a reference. I'm trying to remember what the fuck it's a reference to.
David Bowie song.
David.
Okay. I misheard the last part. I
Major
heard
Tom.
major and I heard town rather than Tom, and I'm going, that sounds so familiar. What? Major town? What the fuck does major town mean? But
I'm
yes,
sorry.
Ground control to
Major
Major Tom.
Yes.
Just call him Tommy. It's easier.
He's a major.
Yeah.
Has to be a bit of respect.
But yeah, a lot of them fly right in throughout the battle. So they tend to get shot down more often than a lot of other aircraft.
Holy shit.
Hmm?
Damn it. I had stuff I wanted to talk about, but we're hitting.
Time for you to head off.
Can I try and fire these off real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First off, did any of you guys see the Sonic 2 movie trailer?
Nope.
I have not.
Oh,
I
you
have
should
not.
Watch it. It's fucking awesome. It looks really
Okay,
good.
I was just about to ask, should we see it because it looks awesome or because it looks awful and you want other people to laugh at it with?
I mean, I'm still not a fan of Jim Carrey being Dr. Robotnik. I wish they kind of would have at least put a little fat pouch on him, to make it look like he's growing to look like Dr. Eggman. But and again, he's still. It's one of those. He does quite a number of Riddler poses, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's always Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's so that that's my personal beef with it. But other than that, it looked pretty good. And for some reason, people are saying Idris Elba is sounding sexy. I mean, I think he just sounds weird. It doesn't sound like it fits the scene.
People
Or
are
the
really
character.
horny for Idris Elba, though. So
Well, yeah, there's that. So
not just a bog standard thing. If Idris Elba's in something, you will have a bunch of thirsty bitches talking about how hot he is.
yeah,
Oh, he's Knuckles?
yeah.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
okay.
I still haven't seen the
You
first
sounded
one.
really
And
excited
there goes
and then
Sora.
really disappointed.
So, like, from what I remember of Sonic was the cartoons in the 90s a little bit. Wasn't that
Chili dogs.
interested then.
Jaleel White and his chili cheese dogs.
Oh, dude, Sonic ate a chili cheese dog in the beginning of the trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like I said, the trailer was fucking cool. And it's funny because when I was watching the Twitter feed when the voice actor for Tails announced that they were doing the voice, I guess it's the voice actor from the games, and people were like, "Oh yeah, see, look at Sega's adding, the voice actors from the games into the movies, and that's how you should probably do it." And I agree. I think a lot of times if the voice actor has done a good performance, let them do the performance in a movie. You don't need to rely on star power. That's fucking early 80s type mentality. It's goofy mentality. You don't need Arnold Schwarzenegger to fucking lead a movie.
Though that formation of those sentences so close together now really makes me want to see a Goofy movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger voicing Goofy.
Dude,
That'd be
we're
funny.
going fishing. Come on, get into the camper.
I just want to hear Arnold Schwarzenegger full accent, because that man can't have a single sound come out of his voice or out of his throat without it sounding in accent somehow.
Hell
I
no.
want to hear him have to do the because can you just
Sweet
imagine
Jesus.
I don't know, man. That's CERN level. Deep dish, we gotta go.
You have to. I have to hear that now. In order for everything to be right in the world, I need to hear at some point Arnold Schwarzenegger do the Goofy scream. Continue. No, I've just dropped that grenade.
The second thing was, well, actually, I guess I could just close it out with the, because I don't want to harp on the video game over. I really didn't want to watch it, but I watched it because I wanted to see what they're going to show. But it was just the same old of just like, and again, even reading the live chat of the official video game awards, YouTube streaming, whatever. Whenever they started posting their shit where it was like, anti-bullying or BLM type shit, and it's like you see in the chat, it's like people are like, dude, where are the games? Well, we're not here to see this. Even when Sting was singing, it's like, who the fuck asked for Sting? But I think that the biggest thing was 100%. Who in the fuck is asking for these things to be nominated? Because I think the game that won Game of the Year or something like that was Two of Us, and it's an incredibly niche game that requires two people to play. So it'd be like an Oculus game being nominated for Game of the Year. And
I do have to say that game was really
dude,
good.
It looked nice. It looked really good. But standing up against Ratchet and Clank, which was holy shit. I mean, I'm not big on the lore in the series, but that was looking like a fucking. It hit all the boxes, Like, and as much as I hate to say hit the boxes, but it had open world. It was graphically looking nice. It was the storyline was good, and it included the the reverse Ratchet, the female Ratchet, whatever. So it hit all those boxes. And then again, Psychonauts 2, which is a beloved classic, and it was it was what these people were asking for. And again, none of those two games I would personally play. I'd give them a try, but they're not anywhere, But to see them being snubbed by It Takes Two, it just screams more of a like, dude, yeah, it's like the Grammys. It's like, dude, we're watching these people just giving themselves awards. That's what you're
Pretty
watching.
much.
Though
know?
I will say again, for that case, the It Takes Two, at least it was a good game.
It was a good game, but game of the year.
Yeah, that's a bit questionable.
Yeah, it's because again, the only thing is it's not. It wasn't a game that. And because again, when I was looking at the responses to this, a lot of it was, in defense of it was, it's not always about what's the most popular, but that's isn't that what game of the year is the game is supposed to be well received all over. It's accessible all over.
Yeah.
Anybody can try it and play it, and it encompasses all. It's a game of the year. It's not
I would say
strategy of the year. It's not. It's game of the year. So it's the game.
I'd say yes or no, or yes and no, because if you did it just based on copies sold, every year would be FIFA.
I'm not even saying that, because you can do that with like views, and you'll get like goofy cell phone games, that are blowing up on the App Store, and all of a sudden that's the most. No, we're talking about, okay, so let's look at it. So that's why I said, when you're looking at Ratchet and Clank and the other one, like I said, I don't even play them. I'm a Switch guy. I purely play Switch. I'm glad that Metroid Dread got action platformer. I haven't even played it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want the game, but it's a little too expensive.
I want to play it, but I'm really horrible at those types of games. But like we're seeing all these other games, and like I don't know. It's just one of those things where I think we're looking. It's turning more into the movie industry, where it's not so much we want to see movies that the audience is enjoying. We want to see more people. I'm a producer. I'm a director. I want to craft an art, and this is going to win an award. Well, why is it going to win an award? Well, because I crafted it, and other pretentious artists decided that it was also good, as opposed to the people who are going to, like, you're doing it to get ticket sales, right? So if the ticket sales aren't getting there, why in the fuck? And you're seeing it with the movie industry, and it's slowly encroaching into the game industry. And I think this recent game awards show just solidified it, because it was like, what was it? There was a game announcement. No, it was Sonic Frontiers. They were like, we're going to show gameplay of Sonic Frontiers. They showed a trailer, and then he went immediately into Guillermo del Toro, whatever his name is, his movie. Yeah, and it's like, wait, it's a fucking movie. It's a video game awards show. Why are you showing us a movie trailer? Man, what the fuck? I mean, the Sonic movie trailer made sense because it was Sonic. Like, if you showed us a Pac-Man movie trailer, we'd be ecstatic. But what is this? I mean, hey, there's some good actors in there, but it's nonsense. It's all nonsense. It's crazy. And also, all the people, I think they were lip singing. They didn't look like they were singing nothing.
If there was a Pac-Man movie, it would have to be first-person perspective, like Hardcore Henry. That's just my 2 cents.
The whole movie?
Hardcore Henry, Pac-Man movie.
I mean,
the whole movie is spent eating things and chasing ghosts when you eat a cherry or whatever.
You'd need to come up with some sort of fucking plot for it. But I would want it to be first-person perspective, just because I would find that fucking hilarious.
Well, they get based off Pac-Man 2 Adventures.
I want Pac-Man movie to be about a secret spy versus spy ring taking place during the Cold War, running after some thieves who stole uranium cake.
Holy shit! You know what?
That's why they
Pac-Man
look like
did come
that.
out. Yep. And you know, honestly, I think that storyline should be played by Danny DeVito. Who better to play
Yes.
Pac-Man than Danny DeVito?
Yes.
So anyway, I
100%.
started packing.
Nom 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 nom.
You see, each little dot that he eats is actually a clue. And when he eats one of the big clues, that means that he has enough to take these people down.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why the ghosts keep on coming back is because there's always more people willing to be in on the conspiracy, man.
See, all the lines are lining up.
Well, come on, Hollywood. We just gave you a script or a write-up. Start storyboarding it.
It's
No,
free
I
of
don't know
charge.
why, but this is just reminding me of Cheap Detective now.
In all honesty, I would say at this point, I think our best goals as individuals um, would be to follow the lines of like Alternia Comics, and we got to start our own shit. You know, we got to start our own movie productions. We got to start our own comic publishers. We got to start our own game development units, because obviously these people are so fucked that even if you jump into it, I mean, I just saw an article where women at Blizzard had to leave their breast milk in like a separate building in some weird shit. It's like, dude, these people are so fucked.
No.
We gotta start our own shit. We gotta start new stuff. It's the only way. I mean, it's obvious that they also have, you know, I don't even know how to say it, like a I want to say a boys club or something like that, where it's like, hey, you know, you're a same family name, or you're a same um, lineage, and so you're automatically in the club, even though you probably eat Play-Doh. It's, you know, it's one of those things where these people just, they'll help each other out despite anything, and we got to work against that. That's we are on the creative side. And
Yeah, it's nepotistic and
yeah,
incestuous.
nepotism. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean,
Well, incestuous can be used as their self procreating, not just in the sexual manner, but in
I don't know why my brain led me to defending Play-Doh, but um, yeah, and incestuous is not Play-Doh.
Yeah, I don't
Like I
remember
said, I don't
Plato
like-
being real
I don't
big
know.
on I
Hey,
should be
what?
allowed to fuck my sister.
I was like, wait. Well, it's Play-Doh. It's Play-Doh brain. Congratulations, Adam. You have.
Is it scented Play-Doh brain?
I hope not. It always smells like salt.
Well, Play-Doh's only cornstarch anyway.
See, I was worried that it was scented like hemlock.
Oh, shit.
I
Well, it's the best
don't
note
need
to
that.
leave on. Yeah. I'm gonna head out. You guys have a wonderful night. Sanguine, thanks for inviting me, and
Always fun to have you, man.
it was enjoyable to chat with you. I wish I could have hung out with you more, but work sucks.
Yep.
But either way, you know, for all the hosts, the panel, and also the chat and the audience and everybody in the future, God bless. And I love you all. Take care.
Have a good
Good
one,
night,
man.
Adam.
Right.
Also, I rather love the fact that Keeverdam came up with Sang Goofy when I did the Goofy scream.
I like that. It's very, very good.
Yeah. It flows a bit too well.
I know. Uh-oh. Don't tell anyone else, Keeve.
Suddenly my name in the server changes from Sangru to Sangu.
You still haven't changed that yet?
Nah, don't even change it anymore. When someone else decides that everyone's name needs to change, my name just gets changed.
Okay.
Which is how, for the longest time, I was the robust scrote on there.
I was wondering, yeah, so that wasn't you?
I think that was, he says it was Jacob, right?
Yeah, it was Jacob, because I told a story, which I just realized I've probably never told this story on air. See, do you guys want to hear the origin of the robust scrote?
Gotta have to know, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you guys know, or possibly know, before I was a lab worker, I was a corrections officer, and before that, I was an EMT. So, this came back from when I was an EMT.
Oh, good. Excellent.
My partner and I had arrived on the location. We had just received our information that we need for the patient. So we were getting the patient transferred over to the stretcher. We draw sheeted them over to the stretcher. They kind of shifted down a little bit. So I started moving to the head of the stretcher to pull them up because they were a standard sized person. So I can pull them up by myself. No fucking problem. As I do that, we're in kind of a tight space, and we had the O2 canister mounted below the head of the stretcher. So I kind of have to step over the O2 cylinder to get behind. But I can only get one leg behind the stretcher, and I start shifting the patient up. My partner comes around from the other side of the patient's bed and starts hitting the raise stretcher button because we have a automatic stretcher that we're using. The stretcher starts to rise, and you guys have seen O2 cylinders before, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So, you know how it has that little nubbin that you stick the line on?
Yep.
Yes.
That nubbin rises up, catches the crotch of my pants, and sadly rises up further as my partner's raising it, and snags the bottom of my scrote.
Oh, no.
And I go, whoa, hoping that my partner immediately goes, oh, shit, sorry, man.
He does not.
Continues going up. So I start saying, stop, as it's slowly rising up. It reaches the point where I've been saying, stop, stop it, stop, stop, as I'm slowly being raised by my scrote and the crotch of my pants, to the point where I am completely off one of my legs and on my very tippy toes on the other. The rest of my weight being supported by my scrote. And I am now saying rather forcefully, lower the goddamn stretcher. My partner immediately snaps his head up, going, what the fuck? Because normally I do not curse at my partner in front of a patient. That's a bad way of interacting with your partners as EMTs. You don't curse at each other in front of the patients. You don't second guess each other in front of your patients. It's kind of the first rule of being partners on a call. I'm cursing him because I'm being lifted by my scrote. And he goes, what? And I tell him, down! So he starts lowering the stretcher. So I start trying to unsnag myself as he's lowering the stretcher. As I'm doing this, apparently I push the stretcher forward a little bit. And he goes, oh, it must have been snagged on part of the furniture. It just got moved forward. He fixed it. Goes right back up. And hoisted I go. Again.
Oh, I would have killed that guy.
Down. Until again, I have to curse rather loudly and forcefully at my partner because he has again raised me up to stand on the very tippy toes of my left foot, my right leg completely off the ground. At the time, I was 300 pounds, plus or minus, so what wasn't supported on my tippy toes was again being hooked onto the O2 cylinders, nubbing for an O2 line by my scrot. So the rest of my weight was being supported by my ballsack.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I start cursing. He realizes, oh shit, something's wrong, lowers the stretcher. I move it forward. For a moment after that, because you've been hitting the balls before, right, Jason?
Yeah.
You know how even when you don't want to, you get kind of that tightness of your voice, and sometimes it goes a little bit squeaky?
Yeah. Because all your air's gone, you know.
Yeah. So for the next little bit, after that second hoisting that I got from my partner, when I'm talking, it's kind of this pained, high pitch, kind of restrained voice. Until suddenly that feeling in the lower part of your stomach that you get when someone has just slapped your balls recedes. And I'm able to feel normal again. But then we finished out that call. I had to explain to my partner what he had done after the call. And then I had to fill out one of the most hilariously embarrassing injury reports that I've ever filled out. Because I don't know what's going to happen. It could be that I have just bruised my testicles in this incident. And I don't want to have to take off work and not have anything reported, so have to pay on my own dime. So I have to put in workplace injury report, which involves the phrase hoisted by my own scrot twice. So the next day, there wasn't really any tenderness. So I was apparently fine. I ended up telling this story after a show one night in Eve's server. Just a number of us had been drinking and just bullshitting. So I told
heard it
this
before
story.
too, so yeah.
And Jacob is just fucking dying at the... So apparently I have a remarkably robust scrot. So he decided to change all my names where he had access to robust scrot.
I like it. Excellent story. I'm sorry
Yes.
you went through the pain though at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, it was rather remarkable that
Excuse me.
I got hooked twice.
Well, at the
Twice
same time,
and
it's just like,
lifted.
dude, why would you assume it's okay to start lowering or rising, pardon me, again?
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
God.
Like I said, the injury report was one of the single most amusing and embarrassing injury reports I have ever had to pen. My partner also had to pen one, and when he found out that he had lifted me by my ballsack twice, he was laughing. Because it's one of those things that, yeah, you can't just hear that type of shit and not be like...
Yeah, it's hard not to.
So that is the origin of that name.
Very nice. Very cool.
Yep.
I always enjoyed the EMT stories because when you hear or anything's like, oh, it's a medical story. Someone did something,
Mm-hmm.
Something was put on up orifices that should never have had anything put up them, or
Someone was hoisted by a segment of skin that has no purpose hoisting a person.
All
Great.
those stories that Sanguine told about being EMT is like, wow.
Oh yeah, it is impressive how much shit you get up to as an EMT.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey.
Hey Johnny, how goes? Yes, Jacob should return. Return and continue to be the superior jet. And for those who don't know, Jacob has a younger brother.
The
that-
lesser jet.
Yes. We used to... Both of them used to hang out a fair bit with us. And I took to calling him the lesser jet just because I was busting his balls. And it stuck, so Jacob became the superior jet. And the lesser jet is also the origin of Chicagans aren't even Americans.
Nice.
Yeah, apparently...
Oh,
go ahead.
but nothing to do with Chicago, but this just reminded about a fact that I heard today. Well, I discovered today because at work we had a bit of a downtime and we ended up like just Googling some stuff. We got down the somehow from talking about injuries to West Nile virus to meningitis, and then I was like, and then we were like, oh, looking up statistics for, or I ended up looking up statistics for West Nile virus, not realizing how prevalent it still is, and then figuring out, you know, what is a current freaking hotspot for West Nile virus? Freaking South Central Arizona. And here I am thinking, oh yeah, that's not a thing anymore. It's like almost like 3,000 between Maricopa County, I think is the name of it, and there's 2 other counties that are like, this is from the recent statistics of CDC. It's like in total in those 3 counties, it's like, if you do the math, it's close to 3,000 current West Nile virus infections. What the hell, Arizona?
It's kind of like whenever you hear about someone having scarlet fever.
You hear it very often.
It's one of those things.
Old-timey disease, you know?
Yeah. It's an old-timey disease. It's one of those diseases that you have a really hard time even saying scarlet fever completely flat because you feel like you should be going, the poor boy is inflicted with scarlet fever. Which, do you guys know how you get scarlet fever?
No.
It's
Sora, do you happen to?
Oh, it's some weird... Is it like a viral infection?
It is a disease that was extremely common, and the root disease is still extremely common. Hello, Johnny.
Hello.
The
Hello.
root disease of scarlet fever is strep throat. If you have untreated strep throat, it will eventually promote to being scarlet fever.
I did not know that.
Yep. So anytime that you hear about an outbreak of scarlet fever in an area, a fuck ton of people had strep throat and just didn't go to a doc and get treated.
Cool, interesting.
Which and strep's a torture enough as it is.
Yeah. Strep sucks, but strep won't kill you. Scarlet fever can kill you stone dead.
Oof.
And like I said, it's just one of those old-timey diseases.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. It's just it's fun to think that like, oh yeah, that's still kicking around.
Yeah.
The spoon looks good, man.
Oh, thanks. I still can't get the mouth to move, but you know.
There's certain diseases that you just don't hear about, and it's strange whenever you do end up hearing about them again. Especially when they come in any large scale. Like, it's one thing to hear about a handful of people have measles, but when you hear about a full-blown measles outbreak and you're going, That's still a thing?
Like the plague still a thing too, you know, the Black Plague.
Yeah. It reemerges in California every few years.
Yeah.
That's not even a joke. It reemerges in California every few years. For those that don't know.
Yeah. I think they found it in a cat one time.
Yeah. I think the two major areas where it pops up are California and occasionally in Maryland.
Yeah.
Maryland.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And yes, most of the cases where it emerges in Maryland are, in fact, in Baltimore. Because that city has been almost completely given over to rats.
Well, plus you've had a lot of people living next to each other, you know, not very sanitary.
But that wouldn't be as big of an issue if it weren't for the massive rat problem in the city there. You guys have seen the rat problem in Baltimore, right?
I heard about it.
I
But
have
haven't
not.
seen it.
Oh, there's videos that you can find that if you don't like rats, Baltimore is your hell. Because there are videos documenting the problem of like entire metro tunnels overrun with rats.
That's
It's
gross.
like that. It's like that Popeye's chicken video, except for all over the town.
Yeah. It's a carpet of rodents.
So individually, they're adorable and they're cute, and you can have very intelligent pets and all that nice things. But I don't think I'd be so chill for in front of a carpet of them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just ride them like a surfboard, you know.
What the hell is the movie where it was the creepy
Willard?
guy? Willard.
Willard.
Yes.
Willard.
Yes, it is real life, live action Willard.
Lovely.
Only without
Ugh.
the person controlling them. It'd be a lot nicer if there was actually some fuck controlling them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
I'm just wondering what they eat to support that large amount of population, you know.
Sewage.
Yeah.
Small dogs.
Damn
Probably.
near anything in the numbers that they have.
Yeah.
Do you remember the pizza rat from the New York? It was like in a New York subway or something, and it was just a rat casually dragging a piece of pizza up the stairs.
Yep.
Nice.
That rat I like. That's a fun rat. Oh,
Remember there that
God.
talking about Chuck E. Cheese, you know, that kind of rat.
Oh,
And
God. No, that's creepy. I hate that kind of stuff. Anybody in a mascot suit gives me the creeps.
Oh, yeah.
And to respond to both Cannibalistic Wizard and you, Sora Luna, yes, that would be ginger fever. It's a entirely different matter. Though there are some debates whether it is as deadly or less deadly. It seems mainly to come down to how hot-blooded the particular ginger in question is.
Yeah, you might lose a house, that's all.
No. Have you never heard the joke about the old Irish woman who's been married for 80 years?
No.
So, an Irish woman has been married for 80 years. One of the longest marriages in the area. So, a local newspaper decides that they'll just do a quick and easy puff piece and give some happy news. So they go and they interview the woman and her husband. And towards the end of the interview, the reporter, after getting the story of how they met and how the husband proposed to her and what their children were like and all the happy stories, he kind of leans across the table and goes, "So, you can tell me, in all these years, have you ever considered divorce?" And the Irish Catholic woman just kind of thinks for a moment and as the guy feels like, oh, I should probably be heading out, he starts to get up, and she leans across and grabs him by the arm and goes, "Divorce? Never. Murder? All the time."
Now, speaking of murder, that's actually how I learned. If you ever have to tell a woman that you love her, you better mean it, or else she will try to burn your house down with you inside.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah. My stepdad actually, we were going through some of the remnants in his old house. We used to call it the old house just because he used to live there.
Mm-hmm.
And just, he could never really afford to just fix it up all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the fact that they couldn't, for some reason, they couldn't prove that it was arson, or like he wouldn't say it was her fault.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact that, of how it went down. There's a bunch of stories that I miss out on with how it went down. But my dad brought a girl for the weekend, as he called it.
Mm-hmm.
And she was all of a sudden like, "Oh, I love you," and he's like, "Yeah, I love you too." And then when the weekend was over, he's like, "You can go now." And she's like, "Well, you said these things," and he's like, "Yeah, I said a lot of shit. You can go." Like, just has her go on her way. Well, she did not take it that well, and she left, and he went back, and him and my uncle had to go run errands.
Mm-hmm.
So my uncle picked him up in his truck. They went into town, and then he comes back and his house is on fire.
Jeez.
Fun.
He really knew how to pick them, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I found out, I think, what was it, 45 years later, that she was carrying his baby.
Oh, Jesus.
And so he turns up, and we're all like, "Hey, it's a thing."
Yay.
And
then he burned your house down.
No, he was, and the sad part is you have this entire backstory going against you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a guy who's curious to find out who his dad is.
Mm-hmm. Do you promise not to burn down his house if you find out?
Let's just say it's a good thing that I wasn't there, because those are the kind of jokes that I would have made.
So I gather that your father is also one of the people that will, or always had the question of, okay, is the hot to crazy ratio going to be the death of me?
Yeah, he was a notorious whore. And the worst part is that he was a small town whore too. So like everyone knew the reputation.
He was the town bicycle.
Oh yeah, no, it was actually his current wife. They've been together, I think 20-something years. She's from a different town. And he's just like, "Hey, why don't you come down?" And she's aware of his reputation at that time. but that was, post his my mom, coming in and moving out. And so she's like, you know what? It's been a while. Maybe he's actually grown up. Looks like he has. We went to her place and while they were together, while they started dating, and it was, I kind of got along with her family. My sisters got along with them more. That typically happens. But so my now stepmom's like, sure, I'll go for it. We've been together a month. Nothing weird's happened. And so my dad at the time, they don't live in the house they have now. It was a single wide trailer. And it was one that he kind of built on. We built a mud room in there and kind of stretched out where his bedroom was. So the kids' rooms weren't that big, but the parents' room was a bit bigger. And so my dad's giving a tour of the house. He goes, okay, my kids' rooms are down here. This is Johnny's room. This is Johnny's sister's room. This is their bedroom over here. And he opens the door, and an X, I don't know which one, is laid upon his bed, spread eagle, and completely naked.
Oh my God.
Like on his bed, and he's just like, he just shuts the door, and he's like, he takes her to the living room. He's just like, give me one moment. And he just disappears into the room, and like, she's like, I didn't even see face. It was just a flash of naked person just being thrown from the door, through the door. Like, he didn't even give her a chance to like catch her feet. Like, she was out.
I mean, as she should be.
Yeah. And he's like, he spent the rest of the night just apologizing. He's like, let's just go somewhere else. We'll go talk somewhere else because I can't be here for this.
See, this is just making me remember this one Irish song. I think it's called Johnny Be Fair. Have any of you ever heard Johnny Be Fair?
No.
I don't think so.
Not Johnny Be Fair.
So Johnny Be Fair, the entire song is sung by a woman, and she's talking about how there's the first guy, Johnny, and it's Johnny Be Fair, Johnny Be Fine. Johnny wants to mate, it's Johnny Be Fair, Johnny Be Fine. Johnny wants to wed me, and I can't remember the last line of the first verse, but it's effectively the daughter's father comes to her and says, yeah, you can't. He's your brother. So she finds another guy, and it's Tommy Be Fair, Tommy Be Fine. No, you can't. He's your brother.
Jesus
She
Christ,
finds another
Dad.
guy. Yeah, she finds another guy, and she's singing about him, and nope, sorry, not him either. Finds another guy, and nope, not him either. And the second to the last verse is the girl lamenting that all the boys that she wants to marry and that want to marry her, she can't because turns out that her father is a whore, effectively. And then the very last verse is from the voice of the girl's mother, who finds her crying that all the boys in the town are really the by-blows of her father. And the mother comes to her and says that it's important to always be able to forgive, and she's always taught her to be able to do that, so she should forgive her father. Plus, anyways, she isn't her father's daughter.
Yep.
So it sounds a lot like that sort of situation with your father.
I do like the just coming home and bringing in the new girlfriend, and the ex is trying to make amends.
The ex is still there, gushing at the gash from the last time.
Yeah, it was funny because she was. It was after that. She's just like, it was kind of a coin toss of whether they were going to be together after that.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of was like, all right, well, you know, I guess we can see where it's going to go. And yeah, they've been together for, let's see, since '99 they got married.
Mm-hmm.
So 22 years.
Very nice.
Many happy more.
Like I said, that entire situation just reminded me of that song, and now I have that song cycling in my head.
That's a good jokey song. I like that.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Mermaid song, which Sora probably knows, because I know that she's a bit of a fan of the group that sang the Mermaid song. But I'm not sure.
Big C?
Yes.
Deborah Cowan.
The Mermaid song is by Great Big Sea, and it's all about how a man decides to be a sailor, and his father warns him never fall in love with a mermaid if you don't know how to swim. And he goes off to sea, and his very first day out, he sees a mermaid. And she has gorgeous hair, gorgeous face, and beautiful tits, effectively. And he falls in love, and he dives into the water, starts to pursue the mermaid. The mermaid makes sure that he has everything that he could want, food and a place to sleep, and she's always with him. And then one day she disappears, and he's heartbroken because where's his beautiful mermaid? And then he sees her sister swim by, and her sister is the exact inverse, where the bottom half is a lovely girl and the top half is a fish. And there's the line of, her bottom half was a lovely girl, and I don't give a toss about the upper part, because that's how I get my tail. Ooh, come here, fishy, fishy, fishy. And it just ends with the entire band effectively perving out with the, come here, fishy, 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 come here. Irish songs are amazing. Folk songs are amazing. And you were saying?
I was going to say, like, there's a lot of these Celtic style drinking party song shanty type things are very, very pervy.
Oh yeah,
fun songs.
And the same thing carries over if you ever start learning about the Celtic mythology, the Irish mythology, the Tuatha De Danann, the gods of the Irish mythos. You'll notice a trend among most of the female gods where they're the goddess of such and such and fertility. They're the goddess of such and such and fertility. They're the goddess of such and such and sex. And it's just a routine thing to the point where their death goddess, the Morrigan. Morrigan is a goddess of death and sex. Which is a singular aspect when you look at most mythologies.
Well, obviously, they had everyone does a little part-time. It's okay.
Ah.
Pretty
Though they
good,
did
allows
still,
the gods to relax because there's enough coverage for them.
and they did still have a god of love, which most of the other mythologies combine the god of love with the god of fertility / sex. Yeah, the Irish just nope. All the female goddesses, they're the goddesses of fertility / sex. Fuck yeah, sounds beautiful.
I mean, you can't really if you go fertility, right?
Yep.
It's only logical to also go the whole way.
Eh.
Because then what if it's your just fertility and that's it? Then what's the point? Fertility and chastity? Well, okay, that's a waste.
Yeah, that doesn't really work out all that well.
Yeah.
But yeah, their god of love is also a bit of an asshole. For those who don't know,
Most
their
gods'
god
assholes.
of love is Angus Og.
Well, aren't most gods assholes,
Depends on mythology.
Yeah.
Greek mythology, yeah, pretty much every god except for Hades is an absolute raging bastard.
Yeah,
Hades
he's pretty good. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Hades is actually kind of a good guy and kind of depressed in most of the mythology. The only other god that is mostly redeemable is Hephaestus, because Hephaestus is just horrendously abused.
Yeah, he got a real bum deal, poor guy.
Yeah. So, do you guys know the origin of Hephaestus and all the shit that happened to Hephaestus when
Nope.
it came? So, Hephaestus was the son of Hera. You might notice how I just said the son of only one goddess. I didn't mention a god.
Mm-hmm.
That's because he is just the progeny of Hera. No one else. Just like Athena is the progeny of Zeus and no one else, Hephaestus is the progeny of Hera.
Athena is the daughter of Mephistus, isn't she?
No, Athena all formed from Zeus's head.
He was having a headache.
A headache.
And he split
No,
his
but
head open.
did he not swallow Mephistus the fly? And she gave birth to Athena, and the way he was born was because he had such a splitting headache that his skull had to be cracked open, and she formed fully armored out
There
of his
is
head.
one variant of it that does it that way. In most variants, it is just that she sprung full from his head.
Yes.
Because weird god abilities. And yes, there is one version where she does have a matrilineal line, but in most of the variants, it is that she is just sprung fully formed from his head when he has a headache. Hephaestus was born of Hera without Hera getting knocked up by any other god. But Zeus, being the cheating bastard that Zeus normally is, looked at Hephaestus and went, I didn't fuck this kid into you. I was too busy fucking other people. Who did you fuck behind my back? And he threw Hephaestus off Mount Olympus, crippling Hephaestus in the fall. Hephaestus then grew up, still as a cripple, because he never got seen to, and on his own started forging shit for the gods, became massively important to the function of the gods, forging. So it depends on the origin, or it depends on the myth at hand, because there's a number of contradictory myths. Sometimes the lightning bolts were for the lightning bolts, the helm of invisibility for Hades, and the trident of Poseidon sometimes were formed by the Titanic Cyclopses. Other times they're formed by Hephaestus. And Hephaestus started forging these. Even in the ones where they were forged by the Titanic Cyclopses, Hephaestus ended up being the maintainer of what they were doing. So he continued to maintain them, became rather important to the Olympians, and then, as a bright note, he ended up being able to marry the goddess of love and beauty herself. He married Aphrodite. That sounds like a very joyful end to the story, right?
No, because the poor guy gets cuckolded every single time.
Yes, she sleeps around and fucks every other god and mortal that she can find. The only god that she doesn't fuck at one point or another, I think, is Hades, because Hades, once he has Persephone, is really goddamn loyal to Persephone.
Again, the only good guys. It's the underworld people. They're like, yeah, I have a psycho mom, so you're pretty cool. Let's just like hang out for 6 months of the year.
Yeah. But
I may or may not have tricked you into staying, but let's let that as it is.
yeah,
I mean, some can look at it that she chose to eat the pomegranate seeds. No.
yeah, it's one of those things that, again, it kind of depends on the version of the myth. Some of them it was that he tricked her. Some of them it was that he didn't. Some of them he didn't even really kidnap her. He just ended up not telling her mother where they were going, effectively, in some of them. But she followed along willingly. So there's a bunch of different versions of that. But with Hephaestus, yeah, he marries Aphrodite. Aphrodite starts fucking every other god that she possibly can. And Hephaestus, at one point, gets really pissed off by this because he gets told that she's been cheating on him constantly. And as one can understand, he'd get pissed off about that, right?
And it was with Ares a lot of the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of the time with Ares. So
he like set a trap. I remember a trap.
Yep. He set a trap that was a net that even the gods could not break. And he ends up catching Ares and Aphrodite while they're trying to cuckold him, and he displays them, meant to be an embarrassment to them, but it ended up being more an embarrassment to him than it was to them. So he just gets fucked over at every other turn. He's crippled by Zeus because Zeus doesn't believe that Hera isn't a cheating whore just like he is. For just that sake, nothing else. He didn't do anything. He was a goddamn baby when he got thrown off a mountain. And then grows up as a cripple. Finally has a bright side of life when he finds out he's really good at forging shit, starts forging shit for the gods, becomes important. They're still kind of bad-mouthing him, but they all have to admit that they need him, and that's good enough. Ends up winning the right to marry Aphrodite, and that's really damn good, because who wouldn't want to marry the goddess of love and sex? And then, yeah, constantly cheated on by the goddess of love and sex, because she doesn't love him.
I mean, it's in the name, you know.
Yeah, but he thought that she loved him. She just didn't.
I remember in high school we had to do a sort of our own like spin on. We were going to take a story and we had to kind of make our own sort of twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up doing the Odyssey,
Mm-hmm.
to where instead of him actually going back home to be with his his family. He just decided he's going to stay with sirens,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and he sends it was a series of letters that he sent to his wife, akin to the water boy, to where he just becomes increasingly dismissive as the letters keep coming, to the point where he's just like, yeah, dear Sarah, is it? Like, just sort of
Damn.
like playing her off. And then, yeah, it just, yeah, I got an A on that one. And I made it in 15 minutes because I forgot to actually do the project. So I was able to just burn through something using the water boy as a motivation.
Nice.
Sometimes inspiration strikes, and it strikes well. Well done. I wish we did more mythology stuff like that in my school.
There
The
should be a
most
hell
we
of a lot
did-
more mythology covered.
The most we did was in 7th grade. We had a Greek and Roman unit,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to make our own Trojan horses. So
Mhm.
like that was literally the homework was, go, part of your project is just make a popsicle stick horse in 7th grade, which of course that's fantastic. That's a good waste of your time. And what else did we do for that?
What, you mean you don't want to be treated like you're a 7-year-old?
We did, however, we did get to put on Julius Caesar, like the Shakespeare play,
Mm-hmm.
in which I played Cassius. That was fun. But yeah, that was the extent. Has nothing to do with Greek or Roman mythology, really, but that was part of the whole unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's public school, man.
There should be a hell of a lot more about mythology, and not just European mythology, as fantastic as European mythology is, but I do think that you should include Eastern mythology and New World mythology as well.
Our 4th grade teacher, who was really lovely, before she retired the year after, like, so I didn't get to have her for 5th grade, but we had a mythology, like, because they used to read stories, like have our story time stuff, and she would used to read like myths and fairy tales and that kind of stuff as part of the right after lunch sort of calm down. And that was really nice, but it wasn't taught per se. Like, it wasn't like, okay, here's a bunch of stories you can read. So it's more like for most people, because I love that sort of stuff, so I would read on my own in the library. But a lot of people, didn't get exposed to it, and it's too bad.
Yeah, I was raised on a steady diet of mythology, war stories, and the like when I was younger. So my bedtime stories were war stories and the 12 Tasks of Hercules, Beowulf and Grendel, and Beowulf and Grendel's mother, and all that good shit. And that's how I know things like one of the best gods of the Norse pantheon, just because he has so little about him and it's amazing, is Vidar. I know I've mentioned Vidar before, so some of you might have heard me explain who Vidar is. Do any of you know who Vidar is?
I'm sure you explained it. I'm very sorry, I don't remember.
No worries, you might not have been on when I explained who Vidar is. So Vidar is one of the sons of Odin. Save there's a couple things that actually have Vidar as one of the brothers of Odin. Most of the time he's one of the sons of Odin. And, most of the other sons of Odin, they're more well-known, of course, Thor and Tyr and Loki and the like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vidar is one of their siblings. He is the god of vengeance,
Nice.
as well as a god of craft. And his particular craft is metal and leather work.
Oh, nice.
So, one of the two main myths about Vidar is Vidar lives in this one forest outside of Valhalla. So every other god, for the most part, lives in Valhalla or the surrounding area. He lives just out in the middle of the fucking woods. And he collects scraps of leather and scraps of metal. And with those scraps, he makes a boot. That's the first myth about Vidar that people
Yeah, he made
Makes a
that
boot.
boot. The best boot maker ever.
Yeah, das Boot.
Very fucking simple, right? Then there's the second.
That sounds like one of those stories. It's like, yeah, I got one better. There's this guy lived out in the woods, right? He made a boot.
Yeah. It's just one of those.
Wait, what?
Okay.
That's it? Like,
It was
Yeah,
a really
it's one of
good
those-
boot, okay?
It's one of those myths that you just go, okay. And so the second one is him actually using said boot, which is during Ragnarok. So all the gods have these amazing epic battles during Ragnarok, right? You hear about Odin facing off against Fenrir. You hear about Thor and Jormungandr. You hear about Loki versus Heimdall. And all these Tyr versus Gorm and Fenrir. You hear about all these fights, right? Massive fuck off fights. And I think Tyr also goes against Surtur at the end as well. But all these massive fights that are ridiculously important, and all of them have whole hosts of myths building up to them. So, the contribution of Vidar during Ragnarok is Odin gets consumed by Fenrir. You guys know about that, right?
Yes.
yep.
So he gets consumed, he's dead and dusted, but Fenrir's still alive. He's one of the few gods that doesn't land the killing blow right before he dies or right as he dies. So Fenrir is still alive and kicking. You can't have that. That's a loose end that needs tying up. Out comes fucking Vidar from his woods. He's just been chilling in the woods the entire goddamn time since that previous myth that mentioned that he's in the woods and steals scraps of leather and scraps of iron.
Mm-hmm.
He comes stumping out of the woods wearing this massive fuck-off boot of leather and iron. He walks right up to Fenrir, who goes to attack him, and he boots Fenrir in the jaw so hard that he snaps Fenrir's jaw, grabs Fenrir's jaw, rips the wolf in half, and then fucks off back to his woods.
That works.
That's the majority
And
of the
everyone
second myth.
else thought, and you couldn't have come a little bit earlier? Like, come on. Could have used
Yeah.
you out there, man.
That's the majority of the second myth about him. There's only one remaining part, and it's as the Battle of Ragnarok continues, it reaches the point where Surtur draws his flaming sword and burns the whole of Yggdrasil to the point where Yggdrasil plunges into the cosmic ocean and then reemerges. You guys have heard about that part, right?
Yes.
And at this point, pretty much all of the gods have died. Pretty much all life has died. There's 2 humans that are mentioned to have lived, and there's only a very small handful. There's really 3 gods that are mentioned to have survived, and there's several gods that are mentioned to have been resurrected in the act of the plunging of Yggdrasil into the waters and then re-emerging. So, two of the main gods that survived are Magni and Modi. Magni and Modi are the sons of Thor. And each of them is more powerful than Thor. Magni is by far and wide the strongest god in all of Norse mythology. To the point where at one point Thor fights a massive frost giant, slays the frost giant, and the frost giant falls across Thor, such that Thor is pinned under the frost giant's leg.
Mm-hmm.
And Thor tries to lift the frost giant's leg off of him. He can't. All the other gods try to lift the frost giant's leg off of him. They can't. Thor and the other gods try to lift the frost giant's leg off of him. They can't. Thor and all the other gods at the same time try to lift the frost giant's leg off of Thor. And they can't.
They just made it easy for him.
They loosened him up.
Magni, who's a fucking child at the time of this myth, walks up, picks up the giant's leg, tosses it off to the side, looks down at his father, who is the most powerful god martially in most accounts of the Norse pantheon, looks at his father, who has been pinned beneath the leg of the giant, and says, "If I was older when you fought this guy, you wouldn't have even needed to fight him. I could have killed him myself." "Well, you're unpinned. Bye, father," and walks away. He shit-talks his father, who is one of the primary gods of war in the most warlike of pantheons. That's how goddamn strong Magni was.
Nice.
And Thor, in order to wield Mjolnir, needed a belt that increased his strength several times over, as well as a pair of gloves that guarded him from the electricity of Mjolnir. Magni just needs the gloves. His brother Modi, who has a innate tolerance, effectively, to all forms of magical energy. Fire doesn't fuck with him. Cold doesn't fuck with him. Electricity doesn't fuck with him. Needs the gloves. Needs the belt in order to lift the hammer. Magni needs the gloves. Modi needs the belt. So both of them ridiculously powerful. One's durable. One's just an absolute monster of a powerhouse. So those are the two main gods.
Mm-hmm.
So as it's talking about how Magni and Modi survive Ragnarok, and how the two human companions of Thor and Loki before he betrays the gods also end up surviving Ragnarok due to Magni and Modi. And they mention how Holdr and Balder end up being resurrected after Ragnarok. As all of this is being talked about in the end, there's effectively the verbal equivalent of a on-screen cameo of Vidar just walking deeper into his woods. Which is why he's my favorite god, because he just has the most... What? Myths about him. He makes a boot, he uses the boot, he fucks off to the woods without explaining a goddamn thing.
Yeah. Simple, you know.
Yeah.
But I do need to go because I'm in a lot of pain, so...
And it is actually that time for us to head out in general, so we can go round the horn, do parting words, and then you can head off with all of us rather than having to head off before us, if that works for you.
Yeah, it works.
So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. You know me, have fun. Because what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? And Sunday, I'll be releasing my 100th video, so be ready for it.
Nice.
Very nice.
Then let's go Sora next.
Well, as we've learned today, don't go to southern Arizona or you may die. And also, if anyone dares to say that you've done nothing with your life but make a boot, talk about this Vidar guy.
And how you're going to kill a magical wolf with said boot and then just not give a toss about anything else. So let's go to Johnny then.
Let's see. Just because you're studying mythology does not mean you can throw a sledgehammer at anyone.
Nice.
Very good advice.
But am I allowed to fly with it? Is that still on the table?
Well, you can try. If not, I mean, it doesn't come back to you when you throw it.
Well, that was the thing. You don't actually throw it. You throw it without letting go. That's the secret to Thor's flight. Yeah, for those who don't know, the way that Thor flew in the actual mythology, other than when he was using his flying goats that he would then eat, or kill, eat, and then they would just resurrect over the course of the night. The way that he flew was he would throw Mjolnir, but not let go of Mjolnir.
Oh yeah, that's
And the
smart.
weight
Yeah.
of the hammer would just haul him along with it.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. One of the most hilarious ways of flying from any mythology. I'm going to throw something and just not let go of it. So it'll pull me along with it. Fuck
He
it.
found the loophole.
Yep. And I'll leave off with my standard. If you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Have fun.
Good night.
Yeah. Don't let Fenrir devour you.
Oh,
Nom nom nom.
I think he hit the wrong button.
Oh, did he eat himself?
It looks like it.
Wait,
I hate when my
Oh,
internet
damn it.
does that.
He's back.
Back.
Quote unquote, my internet.
It was doing the countdown to let me click the end, and then it crapped out on me. So let me do that again. Have a good night, all.
Good night.